Hi, this is Barbara Polk, and today our topic is reduce the fear of teacher anxiety when connecting with parents. How do you do that, principals? How are you reducing the fear of teacher anxiety when connecting with parents? Do you remember how you felt when you had your first face-to-face or your first call with a parent? Well, let me tell you. I remember the time I had my first call from a parent. So I went down to the main office because it was my conference period. And Ms. Mason said, Ms. Polk, you have a call here from Ms. Thibodeau. She needs you to call her right away. And it's about her daughter. I said, oh, yes, ma'am, I'll do that. Man, I'm looking at this piece of paper with this number on it. I said, oh my God, it's Miss Thibodeau. Miss Thibodeau is a veteran teacher. She works at the administration building. This is my first year teaching. I am teaching English 4. I'm teaching the AP students. And Miss Thibodeau wants me to call her about DeVaren's grade. I didn't fail DeVaren. I think DeVaren made a B. But you know, I tell you what, I'm going to go, because I don't know what to tell her. I'm going to go to my friend Mary, and I'm going to ask Mary, what should I do? You know, how should I handle this? What should I do? Oh my goodness, I can't go to Mary because Mary is being visited by the principal for her evaluation. Oh my God, what am I going to do? So I went to my classroom and I said, I got to call her during my conference period because then, you know, because she's connected with all of the principals, and she just may tell the principal that she called me and I didn't return her call. So I called Miss Thibodeau. I said, may I speak to Miss Thibodeau? And she said, yes, this is she. I knew she was going to answer the phone. It wasn't going to be through a secretary. You know, she's an administrator. The phone is right there on her desk. So I said, yes, ma'am. I'm returning your call. I got the message from Miss Mason. She said, yes, Miss Polk, I know that, you know, this is your first year teaching, and I'm concerned about DeVaren's grade. I see that on her report card, DeVaren made an 89, and DeVaren always makes A's in English. And I was just checking to see, you know, was an error made or just what was the problem? I said, well, Miss Thibodeau, I'll go back and I'll check the files and I'll see you know, and I'll re-average her grade and I'll see if she didn't make a 90 instead of an 89. Yes, ma'am. I'll do that. I'll do that. Well, okay, Miss Polk. Well, that's really just all I needed. I was just double checking on DeVaren's grade because she was telling me that she made an 89 and she thought that she should have made a 90 in your class. Oh, okay, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I understand. Whew. How did you feel when you were a teacher and you made your first telephone call or you had your first face-to-face meeting? How did your palms feel? Was your voice steady? Or was it shaky like mine? Did you feel as though you were adequately prepared and that you just didn't have nervous jitters? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. You know, principals, we're at a time when we are concerned about retaining teachers, at a time when we're concerned about recruiting teachers. And we want to make sure that we take care of our teachers and we help them as much as we can. And there's some little small things that get at our teachers that they cannot articulate to us, but they use as a reason for not staying, or they use as a challenge for teaching our children, especially our children in our urban school districts and our children in our rural school districts who really need us the most. So let's see how we can do something to help those teachers to make sure they are successful. Now, the first problem I had was that I had never contacted Miss Thibodeau before. I'm teaching high school. Why should I be contacting parents? Whether you're teaching high school or whether your teachers are in teaching middle school or elementary school, the first thing to do is you contact them before they contact you. So principals, have your teachers to contact their parents. Now I know some of you were saying, well, I teach high school. I have 100 kids. Or you say middle school. I don't have time to be, contacting my parents. I got 120 kids. And you may say, well, it's easier when you are at the elementary level where you may have 25 kids in the classroom. But what does it take, principals, to have your teachers call during these first weeks of school? If not a call, let's just say send them an email. You have noticed something good about their child. I mean, you haven't written a referral yet. You haven't given an assignment yet that's so difficult. You're learning them. They're learning you. You see the personalities that they have. Why not take the time to send an email to the parents and to say, I have Kevin in my class for the first time this year in my economics class. And I noticed that he's very, very quiet. And I was just contacting you to let you know that I'm really excited about having him in my class. That's it. That's it. Or you may have one, in middle school, and you may say, well, I have LaShawn in my classroom. I'm her English teacher, and I noticed that she's really, really shy. And I know as a sixth grader, this middle school deal is just something that's new to them. And I just want you to know that I'll be looking out for her as she goes through this shyness period. That's it. So what have you done? What have they done? First of all, you've contacted the parent before you have an issue. Secondly, you are showing those parents that we have the kind of culture on this campus where we care about our children. What better time to do it? This is the ideal time. This is the window. This is the window for you to do that. Is that going to take a little time? Absolutely, it will. But sometimes if you do things, well, not sometimes, but all the time, when you do the right thing up front, it makes it easier when you have to call back or when you have to send an email to say that there is a problem. So let's look at the email thing, okay? So that's considered as your written communication. You want the pros of emailing is that you have documentation, of course. And when you do that documentation, please don't do have your teachers do the cut and paste. And I know some of you are very, very structured when it comes to contacting parents via email. You say to your teachers, I need to see some email documentation. Well, now, as principals, I know you're saying that when there's going to be some kind of complications down the road, when that child is on the verge of failing, when progress report time is about to come out, you as a principal, you're going to say, did you contact the parent to let them know that your child was having a difficulty? Okay, I understand that, but have your teachers to make that connection, a simple connection at the beginning of the school year, and have that to be a positive connection. And then when you come back and you say, well, this is progress report time, and Sean is missing 2 or 3 assignments, and we're going to give him some extra time to get those turned in. First of all, as a parent, I feel good because you said that you noticed him, first of all. And then secondly, now you're saying that you are concerned enough to let me know that he needs some help. He's behind on a couple of things. So with the email, and I know the majority of you are using, having your teachers to use email. The other thing about email is that sometimes when you do your communication with email, here's the con side. The con side. The con side is sometimes if you say too much in that email is going to be misinterpreted. So have your teachers, when they do their email communication with the parents, to make it 1 or 2 or no more than 3 sentences. And if it has to be more than that, then principals, it's time for your parents to be contacted by phone. So prepare a script for your teachers to contact parents by phone. Now, some of you will say, well, the teachers are saying, I've called that number and that number is disconnected, or they say that number doesn't belong to that person anymore. And I've called 2 or 3 times and it goes to voicemail and I don't get anything back. And the first thing teachers will say is, you see, that's what I mean. You know, they don't care about these kids. You know, I left a message. They didn't return the call. And that is pervasive. That is pervasive. So let's change that, because we want to build a positive culture on our campus. We want our community to have a positive culture when it comes to thinking about our school. So let's move on to the next, and that is your phone calls. You want to send an email first. Okay, pay attention to this. You need to have your teachers to send an email first to say to the parent, there are some things that I need to talk to you about your child, Raheem, and I am checking to see when it's a good time for me to call you and at what number is the best number for me to call you. Okay, so now, first of all, what you have done, you are in the driver's seat. You have emailed this parent and you're saying that, first of all, we have an issue. Secondly, I'm not going to be doing, telephone tag and chasing. I'm asking you, when is a good time for me to contact you? And you also let them know that your conference period is X time to X time, and that you're here after school until 4 o'clock. So you've given them the parameters. This is when I'm available. This is when I'm available. And next, to eliminate this issue with phone numbers, because most of your teachers, they go to the computer, they pull a number off of the computer, and they use that to call parents. And that's when they're having their difficulty, because those numbers change. So you are asking that parent in this email, what is the best number for me to contact you? The other issue is that sometimes you will have the mother's number. Sometimes you will have the father's number. And you know that in most families, there is one parent who handles all of those issues when it comes to school. And if you accidentally call the dad and the everything is all right, and then you get a call back from the mother, she's upset because you didn't call her. So that is a way for you to eliminate that. So first thing to do, if you have a problem, you send that email to that parent. You're saying we're having a situation here. I'm available. What's a good time? What's a good time? I'm available during my conference period. I'm available after school. Which one of those times is best for me to call you, and what number is best for you to call me? And then you go on with your conference. Now, give your teachers a script. And on that script, you have them to follow the script. Hello, Miss So-and-so. My name is so-and-so and so-and-so. And I teach Sean in his biology class. And I'm just calling you to let you know that he is behind on 2 or 3 assignments. And it's getting close to progress report time. And I know that you want him to be on point when it comes to passing his classes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes. And that's it. All right, now let's move on. I mean, that's the easy stuff. That's the easy stuff. So how about those parents that you call and they start yelling? I mean, you've done everything you're supposed to do. Your teachers have done everything. But this parent is arrogant. This parent is yelling. This parent is using profanity. You have to assure your teachers that it is okay to hang up on a parent like that. And this is how you do it. You tell the parent, this irate parent, sir, I'm sorry, or ma'am, I'm sorry, but I cannot continue this conversation with the profanity. I'm about to hang up. Have a nice day. Done. 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 It's just that easy. And then, of course, the next step, you tell the teacher, let me know that you did hang up on this parent and what the reason was that you hung up on this parent. Because when you hang up on them, the first thing they're going to do, they're going to call central administration and they're going to blow everything all out of proportion and said, I was talking to Miss Smith over at Wilson Junior High and she hung up on me and I don't appreciate it. And then you'll be getting a call from central administration that's saying that you have a teacher over there who is hanging up on parents. Well, if you have all of those things in step, all of those things in line, and you have shown your teachers how to do that, when that call comes through, you are well prepared. You can explain to your supervisor or whoever that central office administrator is that here is the protocol that we use and how your teachers have been instructed. If you have an irate parent who refuses to hear your side, who chooses to use profanity, you let them know that if they continue with the profanity that you will hang up. And when you hang up, you let them know I am about to hang up. And you hang up on them. And it's taken care of. Now, the principal, will get with that teacher. You will have your secretary, Miss Principal, you will have your secretary to call that parent, and you will have a face-to-face meeting with the parent and the teacher, you as the administrator, because it got to that level. And then you'll have an opportunity to clarify some of the things that teacher was saying, how the whole conversation and what it is that you tried to get over to that particular parent. And then the other protocol that you have in communicating with your parents is when you will have to have a face-to-face meeting. When there is something that you are concerned about, when it is, so significant, you are going to have to call the parent and ask the parent to come to school face-to-face. Now, I know that's going to be a logistics issue. There's going to be a timing issue. There's going to be a parking issue. It could be that when you know that that parent is going to pick that student up from school, then that could be your time to talk to the parent. The parent comes to the building. They have to check in. They may not be mobile enough if your classroom is on second floor. They may not feel like, that they can make it up the stairs. It could be a situation that the elevator may not be working. And then that face-to-face, you'd have to come down. You'd have to find a place to meet with that parent to let them know what your concern is. But those are the things that you have to do as a principal, because we are at a point where we want to retain and we want to attract our teachers, and we want to build our school culture. We want a winning culture. And reducing that fear and that anxiety that teachers have when they are connecting parents will make them feel good about their job. It will let them know that they feel as though they're being supported by the principal. And this will permeate the entire building, because this is one of the things that we just didn't talk about. Our desk is so full with stuff, and our teachers are going around. They're feeling this anxiety. They don't feel equipped to be able to talk to these parents on the phone. They resort to doing the email. Lots of times with the email, you get miscommunication, a misunderstanding. And there are ways to do that. And it's our responsibility as principals to help to reduce the fear of the teacher anxiety when it comes to connecting with our parents. And in some of our communities, it's tough. It's tough connecting with some of our parents. But the key is right now, connect with them with the positive, because you haven't come across an issue yet. Or if you have come across an issue, it's been a minor issue. Connect with those parents now. A quick email. Your son is in my class. It seems like he's going to be a really inquisitive student. And I'm so happy to have him in my class. That's how you do it. That's how it's done. So as you are navigating, these kinds of conversations, let's just make sure that we are approaching our teachers and our parents with kindness, because connecting with the parents can be challenging. As Crystal Formet beautifully articulated in her book, when calling parents isn't your calling, it's essential that we approach our conversations with empathy, with an understanding, and a feeling that we're going to get this together. We're going to do this together. So stay calm. Have your teachers to stay calm. Lay down that groundwork, and everything will work out. Will it be a challenge occasionally? Absolutely, it will. So if you are navigating these waters, and that it's time for some expert guidance, just reach out to me, and we can do this together. We'll help design a rapid entry system for classroom observations. We'll craft a fire style matrix for actionable classroom feedback. We'll channel your team's energy towards meeting your 100% vision for your campus improvement. We can help set up a support system for your teacher growth, because if you don't see that you're having teacher growth, then your teachers are going to be looking elsewhere. We can work together to embed a winning school culture, a culture where your school is going to be a hallelujah success story. And that 100% vision that you have for all of your students to achieve, we can get that together. We can get it done faster. We can refine some strategies that you already have in place so that your school will be a hallelujah success story. Your school has all the potential. The potential is limitless. So give me a call, and let's ensure that every connection, every call, and every conversation is a step to greatness. If you look on the post, you'll see the email. You will see the free 10-page handbook that we have for you to succeed if you're reaching your success, how to sustain your success. And if you're not already a member, join our Facebook group, Principals on the Come Up, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. We'll see you next time.